Mugabe's Zimbabwean schools being colonized by radical Islam. Mugabe's education minister Lazarus Dokora has taken advantage of the ailing Zimbabwean leader to change the social and education fabric of Zimbabwe. Dokora's strategy of colonizing Zimbabwe began in 2013 when he instituted exorbitant examination fees for grade 7 students. Dokora knew very well that this requirement would put stress on parents in this small southern African country. His solution was the introduction of radical Islam fundamentalists building 2,100 new tuition-free madrasas under the guise of helping Zimbabwean parents and providing primary and high school education in exchange for the hearts and the minds of Zimbabwean youth. The Islamic colonizers had only one requirement for Dokora, and that was to ban Christianity in all Zimbabwean public schools. 85% of all Zimbabweans are Christian. The second largest religion in Zimbabwe is African spirituality. Dokora eagerly complied with this directive from the colonial masters, and the Mugabe regime has banned Christianity in Zimbabwe's public schools in order to satisfy these Islamic fundamentalists. The largest Christian organization in Zimbabwe, the Scripture Union, has been banned by the Mugabe regime at the request of these radical Islamic funders, and this is just the tip of the iceberg into the plan to Islamicize the Christian nation of Zimbabwe. Robert Mugabe, who professes to be a Roman Catholic, has been silent about the issue of the Islamization of the Zimbabwe public schools. Many Zimbabweans believe that Dokora has been paid by these Islamic fundamentalists for the soul of Zimbabwe and has happily accepted a chance to sell out his people to please yet another colonial master. In April 2016, Mugabe's party introduced a pledge in Zimbabwe schools in the gradual Islamization of the Zimbabwe school system. Parents have sued the government. The Zimbabwe Education Minister Dokora has promised his imperial Islamic overseers to turn Zimbabwe into an Islamic state. Students will be required to salute the national flags, but parents and citizens believe that when all the schools become Islamic, their children will have to salute the Islamic flag and make an Islamic pledge, which they consider to be an abomination of the highest order. Dokora himself is a staunch supporter of child marriages and has refused other organizations that help child sex abuse victims. Zimbabweans are outraged at this new development, which will see Zimbabwe turn into a Syria, Libya, Iraq, or other failed Islamic state. Zimbabwe has the highest literacy rate in Africa at over 90%, and these gains are likely to be erased by the introduction of radical Islam in primary and secondary education. Girl children in Zimbabwe are likely to be affected the worst, as it is believed that girl education will fall back to the levels of Afghanistan and Saudi Arabia with the Islamization of Zimbabwe schools by Dokora in what citizens are dubbing as Colonialism 2.0. Mugabe, once a freedom fighter who spent 11 years in prison fighting colonialism, has now bowed to radical Islam indoctrination and teachings, and Zimbabwe, a predominantly Christian nation, is slowly being turned into an Islamic state by one unelected official known as Lazarus Dokora, the puppet of the Islamic fundamentalists who are looking to Zimbabwe as their next field of influence. Zimbabweans are uprising against this tyrant known as Lazarus Dokora.